Samyukta, I think your mic is on. If you can please turn it off for now. All right. Okay. So, very good afternoon to all the members who are present here. Today, we are having our third third live session, which is on our subject of understanding incubation and entrepreneurship. Uh, Up till now, we have gone through uh, two of the week's content, and today we'll be having our third live session where we'll be discussing the questions, which are a new set of questions, along with a brief content recap, which we'll be doing today as well. And we'll also take up questions from the discussion forum, which has been posted. So, all that will be happening today. And so, before we begin with our session, let me briefly introduce myself. And I would request if the people who have joined in can also briefly tell about themselves. It will help us understand the kind of audience we have and we'll be having. Okay. So, my name is Abhishek, and currently I am pursuing my doctoral research from the Department of Design, IIT Roorkee. And before joining my PhD, I was working as a interface designer at Infosys and Think Design, both as a profile which takes design into digital domains. And I also had a startup which was about design consultancy, and I worked as a co-founder for that for around 2.5, 3 years. And besides, I was also teaching at design institutions like School of Planning and Architecture, which is having a design department in Delhi, followed by World University of Design, and then lately UP Institute of Design, which is in Noida. So I have around 8+ years of work experience, both as a professional and as an educator. And currently, being a Prime Minister's Research Fellow, we have a mandate to dedicate some time in terms of teaching to schools, colleges, and NPTEL gives us one of the platforms wherein we can reach out to learners across India, and we can deliver the kind of requirement which has been imposed upon us. So, with that brief, I would like to end my introduction. As of now, we have a few learners there. If you can please turn on your mic and, if possible, your camera and briefly introduce. We have Bhuvaneshwari. If you would want to please introduce yourself, Bhuvaneshwari. We have Samyukta. Samyukta, if you want to introduce yourself. All right, no issues. So that's fine. I mean, these sessions are primarily to help all the learners who are here, and it's more about problem solving. So whatever queries, concerns, doubts you have will be solved in this particular session. Like I said, there is a particular flow of presentation which we usually observe, and it starts with the initial deck of protocol slides, followed by the content recap, and then a set of 10 questions which are different from the current week's session. The idea is to help you and make you understand, I mean, what typology of questions can be asked, and how you can prepare yourself for that particular week's content, right? So with that, I'll share my screen, and we'll start the presentation. I hope my screen is visible. If anyone can please let me know. Just give me a heads up. I'll also join the session so that if there is a call drop, I'll be able to know. That also helps me. So what I'll do is, okay. Great. So let's begin with our session today. As you all are aware, the course name is Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. The course instructor is Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir, and today we are meeting at our third live session, which is on 8th of Feb. As you all are aware that we do it each and every week, and this journey will go up till 12 weeks, right? So that's a long journey, and we are reaching our third session today. My name is Abhishek, and I am the teaching assistant for this particular course. So starting with the general agenda, like I've already briefed you that each and every session we'll be repeating certain set of protocol slides. The idea remains that anytime a learner joins in, whether it is the first session or the 12th session, the information deck needs to be made aware to each and every learner, right? So it's important that we cover all the important aspects, and that's the reason why we'll be repeating this, and every session. Right? Just give me a minute. So live sessions are here to help you in the current run, of course. And the idea is that we help you, we brief you, we prepare you for your the current engagement in this particular course, so that you learn more. You try and develop your skill set in a way that at one point we'll feel and we'll be sure that you are ready for taking up entrepreneurship. Right. We shall discuss and solve week specific assignments, which is a set of 10 questions other than the live assignment. Why other than the live assignment? Because live assignments are there to assess you and evaluate you, and that marking will be considered for your certification, right? So that is something that is very much required. By week specific assignment, what we mean is that every week there is a new content which gets uploaded. So if you have seen the mail today or yesterday, the week 4 content is now up, right? But today we are referring to the week 3 content. So the questions, the set of 10 questions which we'll be framing will be based on the week 3 content. And the idea is that you should have gone through the content, and then probably when you sit for this session, you will be able to answer the questions in a much better way, right? You need to respond to the questions and queries. So as we have said that there is a set of 1 to 10 questions which we'll be posing, and we'll invite you and we'll ask you what your opinions are with respect to the correct answer, and we'll also discuss the solutions, the probable answers. We'll do a screen validation. What we mean by screen validation is that we will have a snapshot from the course content, and that is how we'll validate our correct answer, right? Validate the Correct answer. Content recap of the ongoing week. This is something which I've started and based on my past observations. So before this session, also, I have taken up this subject multiple times, and I have observed that many times a learner don't get enough time to go through the content, right? And when I present them the set of 10 questions, they feel very odd because they cannot answer the questions, right? So what I have started doing is that I present them a content recap, which is basically a visual summary. What do you mean by visual summary? Anyone? So visual summary is a set of images, right? It's a set of images that I present to you from the video content. Obviously, it is not that much in depth as per the video content, but it gives you a essence of what was covered, and the touch points broadly cover all the essential aspects discussed. So even if you have not gone through the course content, and if you are still in the session, if you go through the content recap through the visual summary, I think you'll be able to understand the entire thing in a much better way. You'll be in a much more stronger position. And if you have already gone through the content, then it will act as a reinforcement. Okay, it will be more like a reinforced learning for you. So you can just brushen up your past learning. Okay, so in the both the scenarios, it will be helpful for you. Okay, so during the live session, we request everyone to please keep your mic on mute because we are recording these sessions, and these sessions need to be uploaded as well. And we don't want any unnecessary noise and disturbances in these sessions. So that is one of the reasons why we request. However, when we post the questions, we invite everyone to please speak up. If you have any query, you can also speak up. So in those scenarios, you're most welcome to unmute yourself and you can speak. Okay. Then there is very interesting functionality called discussion forum. You can post your questions here. How it helps is that the moment you post a question in discussion forum, the discussion forum includes NPTEL team members, me as a TA, and all the enrolled learners. So all the learners who have registered for this course, who have enrolled for this course, we all get a notification, right? And the moment I, as a TA, reply to a question, again, all three get a notification. Okay. So it's a very good medium of, dissipating information in a quicker and easier way. And I suggest that, all those who have used it, it's great. If you have not, please explore it. Where you can explore it, there is something called as ask a question. So this is where you can basically post the question, and it's important that you post the question, because if you don't post it, it's very vague to answer what's happening in the video, right? तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आप क्वेश्चन को भी उसमें पोस्ट करें. You write your questions as well. What is it that you need to understand? Because lately I observed that there were a few questions, and people were not writing the question. So it's important that you write your questions, and it will help me, address your query in a much better way. Right? I'll just highlight this. This is where you can get ask a question. Okay. This will lead you to the discussion forum page. It's a Google based discussion forum page, and it will help you, understand in a much better way. So the query resolution mode, this is a good way. Obviously, you can ask question in these sessions. You can post it on the chat box. You can unmute and speak. So all those aspects are also open, but you can utilize this aspect as well. Okay. Now, all these sessions, as I mentioned, are being recorded and these will be uploaded on YouTube. This is the channel where it will be uploaded. And all the presentations which you're seeing are also being uploaded on a Google Share Drive, which anybody can access who has the link. Right. Now, these presentations become annotated as we talk and speak, right? And these annotated presentations are converted from PPT to a PDF and then it gets uploaded. So, what's the benefit of converting PPT into a PDF? There is a difference of file size. The file size becomes lower, as well as many a times, there is an issue with a font or typeface you have used, and that's where we can actually take care of those issues by having a PDF. So whatever is there is there. There will not be any issue of font changing or not changing, whether you have it in your system or not. Right. So that is one of the reasons we convert PPT files into PDF and we upload. And we don't want anyone to, scribble upon it or delete our annotations or delete something, right, or change the answers. That is also one of the reasons we upload it in a PDF format, right? All the video sessions are recorded and these are being uploaded on YouTube. Now, why it is being done? Because we do understand that the learners have different backgrounds. They sometimes they are students, sometimes they are teachers, sometimes they are professionals. Now, in each of these profiles, their obligation to their primary thing can be can be a factor which can make them leave some of these sessions. So the idea is that whenever you get time, whenever you have a luxury of time, you can actually, take part in these sessions based on your time. You can, either in the night or in the evening or in the early morning, whenever you get time, you can go through the content, both the video as well as the presentations. Now, once the session gets over, in a day or two, I upload all these data files, and these data files are accessible at प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग सेशन, राइट? यहाँ पे आपको वो सारी चीजें मिल जाती हैं. Now when you click here, it will lead you to a spreadsheet, and in this spreadsheet you will see that week wise content is present. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and as we proceed, for each week you will have a specific YouTube link. Okay, it will be specific to that week. So for every week there will be a YouTube link. However, the presentations are being uploaded on a Google Shared Drive. So within the Google Drive, if you go, you'll be able to see all the past presentations, including the latest one. So for example, now today we are having a session. Probably I'll try to upload the relevant files today itself or by tomorrow. This will be available in the Google Drive. If you go through the Google Drive, you will see the files at least for week 1 and week 2. Okay, it is already present there. And the same goes for the YouTube links which are available for week 1 and week 2, right? So at the end of the session also, what I'll do is I'll just open up this page. I'll show how it looks like, and probably it will help you in understanding the resources, where are these kept and how you can utilize them. Okay. Now, this is the course preview. I think most of you are aware. The course name is Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. It's taken by Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir, who was earlier from the IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay. He was also heading the DIC, which is the Design Innovation Center, which is again at IDC IIT Bombay. And currently he is there at the Mahindra University, and he is setting up design department there. Right? So he's a very active professor, and he has curated a very interesting course for you guys. If you have interest in incubation, understanding incubation and entrepreneurship, you have a startup idea, you would want to explore that idea, explore the feasibility of that idea, and this is a perfect course for you because you'll get to learn a lot. from the incubators, from the centers, from different hand-holding units, and as well as entrepreneurs who will share their stories in these courses. So the total course run is 12 weeks, and the deadline for assignment for week 3 content is 12th of Feb. So you have 4 days left. So I would suggest that you please go through the content and please appear and submit your assignments, because these are critical for your certificate. Okay. The final examination date as per the announcement section is 27th of April. It will happen in pre-lunch and post-lunch slots, and it will be a physical examination. By a physical examination, what I mean is that you will be going to a physical exam center and you will appear for the exam. Okay. So you'll be issued a hall ticket or an admit card. You'll have to go with that along with an ID proof. And then you have to sit for the examination for the duration which has been mentioned, and you have to appear it. So it's more like an external examination, just like you appear for your board examinations, your university examinations. It is something like that. Okay, so you are already aware of that particular format, and this thing also will be using the same physical mode of examination. Okay. Now this is how the progress page of your portal looks like. Okay. So if you click on this particular link, which is the progress tab, you'll start seeing your progress. So it has two tabs. Just click on it if you are not unable to see. Usually it is in a collapsed state. Okay. So if you click here, it will expand. Okay. ये expand करेगा, and then you'll be able to see how is your lesson progress. The gray ones means you have not been gone through the content. The blue ones means you have gone through the course content. Okay. So this shows the progress of how much content you are consuming in terms of going through the presentations, going through the week's content, and assignment progress, as in whether you are submitting the assignment or not. So for me, all these are grayed out because I have not submitted any of the assignments. The blue one suggests that this is the percentage of the content which I have gone through. All right. So it is just a screenshot. It is not an actual state. Okay. So the second tab, so this one is the first tab, which is showing unit wise progress. The second is assessment scores. Okay. Which means that for you, week one and week two scores would have been visible by now. तो अगर आपने नहीं देखा है, आपके स्कोर्स आ गए होंगे, इट इज विजिबल इन दी असेसमेंट स्कोर्स. जस्ट क्लिक ऑन इट. इट्स अ कोलैप्स टैब. इसको क्लिक करिएगा तो ये एक्सपैंड हो जाएगा. ओके, इट विल एक्सपैंड and you will be able to see your scores. Okay, scores are available for only those weekly assignments for which the deadline is over. Okay, that's the catch here. Even if you had submitted the assignment way back, if the assignment deadline is open, you will not be shown the score. Okay. Another thing which is very significant and good feature of NPTEL is that till the assignment deadline is over, you can resubmit the assignment any number of times. Because the idea is that they want you to learn from it, not focus on running after marks. So probably you submitted the assignment and then you felt that okay, probably this is the section where I could have understood more about the question, and so you can refer back to the content and then you can resubmit the assignment any number of times. Okay, so that is why till the assignment deadline, anybody who has already submitted can also resubmit your assignment. Okay, so it's a very open flexibility and very, I would say, learner centric approach by NPTEL. So please make good use of it so that you score great, because the marking criteria also has a significant aspect here. Okay, I'll show you how the marks and the marking are also being related and translated in terms of your final scores. Okay, because all each and everything, every aspect is very important in this. आपका वीकली असाइनमेंट्स भी उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है जितना योर फाइनल एग्जामिनेशन. सो द कोर्स इज फ्री टू लर्न, enroll and learn from. इसका क्या मतलब हुआ कि you will not be having to pay a money if you just want to learn from the course. If you are passionate, if you are interested, आपके अंदर passion है, interest है, you just want to learn the course content, it's okay. You just enroll for free and learn. But if you want a certificate, अगर आपको एक certificate चाहिए है, which is many a times a requirement for students, you have to register for the proctored examination. Proctoring का मतलब क्या हुआ? So there is a physical invigilator who is present in the exam center. It's like a, जैसे मैंने बताया, the board examination, it is something like that. Okay. Now there is also very interesting fact that, there is a deadline for exam registration. So the last date is 28th of Feb. If you need your certificate, it's better that you register, because without registration, you will not be able to appear for your exam, and consequently you will not get your certificate. Okay. So the good thing is that you register it as soon as possible. If you do it before Feb 24th, the exam fee will be 1,000. If you do it between Feb 24th to Feb 28th, that is by the last week, there will be a late fee which will be applicable. All right. So you can avoid that extra money and register as soon as possible. That is before Feb 24th. ओके. अगर आपको ये मैंडेटरी है ही है फ्रॉम योर स्कूल स्टैंड पॉइंट, फ्रॉम अ क्रेडिट स्टैंड पॉइंट, और sorry, from a professional standpoint, you do it. You do your registration, you get free, because many times I've seen that students payment thing gets stuck, and if you're doing it on the last day, you cannot get your query answered, at the same time. So you'll mail, but you'll be worried whether registration has happened or not. There are a lot of those things. So it's important that you have certain margin, at least 3 to 4 days, that even if the payment gets stuck, or there is a scenario of twice you have already paid, things like that, you can actually get resolved by mailing to the NPTEL team. Okay, so this is the criteria for getting the certificate. I always give sufficient time for this because it is something which is critical and needs to be understood. So just take a minute, try to read it. By meanwhile, I'll just explain it to you. Okay. So what do I mean by internal? Your weekly assignments. Okay. So week-wise assignments from 1 to 12 is your internal. Your external is your proctored examination. And both of these will be added to get your overall marks. So there is a 25% weightage, and we only consider best 8 out of 12 assignments. So again, you have the luxury. We'll just take the best 8. So if you are scoring more than 90, 100, you will take the best ones, right? For assessing the 25% weightage. For externals, the weightage is 75%, so that your overall score is around 100%. Okay. So the final score is average assignment score and your exam score. That is what is written here. Now there are certain criteria. So this is again very, very interesting. For example, you scored 20 out of 25. You scored 25 out of 75. Your overall score is 45 out of 100. Okay. Now it says that your average assignment score should be greater than 10 from 25. So you are meeting this criteria. Your exam score should be greater than 30 out of 75. You're not meeting this criteria. But your final score is above 40, which is 45. But since you are not meeting one of the criteria, you will not get a certificate. All right. Which means that proctored examinations are important and you need to gain more than 30 marks to get your certificate. Now let's take another example. You scored 5 out of 25. You scored brilliantly here. You scored 50 out of 75. Your overall score is 55 out of 100. Again, you are meeting this criteria. You are meeting this criteria, but you failed on this criteria, which means not get certificate. Okay. So you need to meet both individual criteria in order to qualify for your final criteria. So all these criteria are important, right? इसीलिए बोलते हैं that your assignments should be completed. We'll calculate the best rate. So usually, this scenario is taken care of. Because there are 12 assignments and you have the flexibility to resubmit it multiple times. But exam score is also very very important. उसके लिए भी prepare करना बहुत जरूरी है. Okay. All right. So this is how we have progressed from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. Week 1 started with the basics of entrepreneurship, what entrepreneurship is, what do you mean by evidence based entrepreneurship, how GDC is helping entrepreneurs and helping them in handholding, what are the reasons why startups are failing, what are the mistakes by the startups, and then some journey of, then we have the journey of Mr. Dinoj, right? This was followed by week 2 content, which was about hand holding for entrepreneurship. So we heard the story of Mustafa, who is from the ID batter, Idli Dosa batter. And then we discussed the panel discussion from Anurag, Amit, Mayuri, all three of them from different areas, different domains, different ventures. So Anurag was in his third leg of entrepreneurship. Amit was again working on food wastage, and Mayuri was working on the marine life. Right? I hope you all are able to recall. Okay. Then comes your ALM. So what ALM is? It is additional learning material. Okay. So week 3, we could see the content is about methodology of innovation. We came across Chakku 7C or the 7 concerns. There was also brief session by Mr. Rupesh on team building, and then there was a problem statement presentation by the IIT Hyderabad MDes students. Okay. In ALM, you can see Palki for Vaishnav Devi and then these are the resources. So go through it when you ever get time. So we have this typology of questions. First one is the radio button questions, which are single selection questions. So the circle means there is single selection, and the square means there is multiple correct answers. All right. So, what paratha you want? I can just take one of them, either paneer, aloo, gobi, one of them. And what do you want in your burger? I can select multiple. I can select cheese, I can select tomato, I can select cucumber, or I can select all of them. Okay. But when you are making this decision, it is important to know the underlying criteria. ठीक है ये बहुत जरूरी है. And this is the underlying criteria. The marking for multiple choice questions. Okay. Now I'll give you a minute. Please read it and we'll take up an example and I will explain you what these actually means. Question is which among the below are politicians? So I'll just write are and were. Okay. So the correct answer, anybody can tell me please what are the correct answers? Which among the below are or were politicians? Please correct answers, anyone? So we'll take all the three scenarios one by one and we'll try to understand what they are speaking. Okay. So the first one says if all options chosen by the student are correct and no incorrect answer has been chosen, then full marks are awarded. Okay. Now the question is which among the below are slash were politicians? So although Gautam Gambhir is currently the coach of Indian cricket team, he was a cricketer, but then he turned into a politician. So the correct answer is A. Arvind Kejriwal and Yogi Adityanath are both in active politics. B and C. Sajjan is primarily a cricketer. I have not heard about him, taking any political parties or sides. So the correct answers are A, B, and C. Now the scenario one, I select A, B, and C, and I submit it. I get full marks. Let's take scenario two. If at least one correct answer has been chosen, then no marks are awarded. Which means if I select A, B, and D, or I select B, C, and D, both the scenarios I have selected D, which is an incorrect answer, no marks will be awarded. Okay, let's take scenario three. If only correct answers are chosen but not all correct answers have been chosen, then partial marks proportional to the number of correct answers are awarded. For example, I selected A and B and I submitted. I selected B and C, I submit. I select A and C, I submit. Or I just selected B, or I just selected C, or I just selected A and submit. So I have not selected all the three correct answers, but I have the two or one options which I have chosen are correct. Okay. So if the question is of 1 marks, probably in these scenarios, I might get 0.66, 0.66, 0.66. In this scenario, I might get 0.33. All right. So if you're getting marks in decimal, It means that there is an underlying proportionate logic being calculated, right? So you need to aware about these underlying principles in order to understand your marking criteria. All right. Now here comes the GMeet learners slide. These have been quite active, quite persistent learners. Nathan Nyasha, Gwenzi, Shobna Priya, Nara Kalyani, Ankush Kumar, Ayan Malviya, Samyukta Nagarjan, and Bhavna Veltulkar. So well done, guys. Well done. Please keep up the good work and be persistent and be active, both in terms of learner and participation. These are the key of gaining more knowledge in this particular course. So thank you for being there, for being consistent in coming and joining the sessions. I would have wanted to see more people, but it's okay. I mean, everybody has their commitments, so that's perfectly fine. All right, now we'll be starting the content recap. This will be a very quick visual journey, as I've mentioned. The idea is that we make you and brushen up your past learning. ऐसा हो सकता है ना, because maybe you have gone through the content a week back, okay, or you have gone the content in a very quick way so that you're not able to recall it. So that's how the visual summary will actually help you in going through the content in a very brief way, but it will help you to brush up what you have learned in the previous week. All right. So this starts with module 3, innovation, team building, and problem statement. So there were three sessions. The first session was about methodology of innovation taken by Professor Chakravarti. Second session was about team building. Mr. And Professor Rupesh was there. And then defining the problem statement, wherein IT Hyderabad students from MDES were also involved. So they started with the seven concerns of innovation, or also known as Chakku's seven C's. And then there was an example about how Netflix disrupted the market by their beginning, by their introduction of very different model of subscription, and how they became mainstream by utilizing their own ways of reaching out to the customers. So ecosystem and environment around you can push you to innovation and entrepreneurship. That was something which was highlighted. So now they started creating films, series, and they built an AI and algorithm so that they also suggested customers based on what they have seen and what they would want to see later. Okay. Now there's a brief profile of Professor Chakravarti. He started as a principal designer in Larsen Toubro, LNT. This was followed by his taking up a role as a teacher, as a design faculty member in IIT Delhi between 1994 till 2001, where he became the associate professor of IDDC at IIT Delhi. And then he joined in as professor at IIT Bombay, and he's presently working there. And as I mentioned, he has taken up a brief role at the Mahindra University, where he's setting up the Institute for Design there. Then there was this example of vein tracer, which is a device to identify the veins easily during the vein puncture procedures. Uh, and it can really be helpful and useful for small children because they get very much troubled by the different multiple pricks if it is not being identified, and then obese patients and dark skinned people as well. This was another example of the context, why context is important, and it's about understanding the problem space environment. And Devanshi Saxena was the student who was pursuing this particular area. She was BDS from NID and then pursuing her masters from IDCIT Bombay. And this is how the storyboarding was done. Now, this is also very interesting technique, right? Storyboarding is a very interesting technique. As a design student, everybody goes through it. And even if you're not a design student, then also in your respective projects, if there is a product interface or a service interface, using storyboard can actually help the audience the entire sequence of actions in a much better way. It's much more easier, much more relatable because there is a mix of graphic as well as minimal text, right? So just imagine if the entire thing you have to write down, it would have been multiple boring pages. But the moment you have, scribblings and illustrations with brief sketches and text, it becomes much more, willing to learn from. So that's how these illustrations can help you. Then we had an example of solar oven, which is solar window mounted, which was being taken up by one of the IDC student, and it presented a very good case of being a collaborative design wherein people from energy science department, material science, and polymer science all were involved, to come up with this particular design of solar oven. So it was a window mounted solar oven, and these were the specifications for it, and it was Avinash who was working on this particular project. He's still working on this particular project, and the project was showcased at FINE, which is the Festival of Innovation at the Rashtrapati Bhavans. Then there was a brief journey of Palki for Vaishno Devi Shrine, and it was a collaborative project between different bodies, right from the government to the Shrine Board in Katra, DIC, IIT, Bombay, and Niti Mumbai, which has now become IIM Mumbai. It has recently made an IIM, so it is also there. So then comes a very interesting academic project, which is on the helmet design exercise given to the students, to take up different scenarios, different user personas, and then come up with the helmets for them. So as you can see many times, if you have observed, while you are using a scooty or a two-wheeler, storing it in the dicky part becomes a problem because of this particular shape. So what this student did was he broke down this particular into two parts so that it can go in and then it can become a full-fledged helmet ready to use. So the storage was made much, much easier. And these are the ALMs, additional learning materials. If you get time, you can go through them. These are repositories which are available in your portal. Okay. And then again, there is a very interesting example by two ITNs, Neetu Yadav and Kirti Jangra. How they started a very interesting app for online marketplace for trading kettles in Rajasthan. So it's a very different startup domain, and they are doing really great in this particular format. So the app name is Animal. Okay, you can right now go and explore about it, and you'll be able to see that. Okay, so now we are approaching our set of 10 questions. Before we start, let's take a quick break. Because prolonged sitting is not good for health. Extended sitting can lead you to a lot of health hazards. So let's take a very quick break and let's be back and we'll start our set of 10 questions. Okay. Uh, so we'll see the recording is going on. Great. And we'll just have a quick look at our tab. Right. So we'll be meeting it very quickly. Okay. So just let's take a quick break and we'll be back. All right, so let's begin with our set of 10 questions. I hope our learners are still there. Okay, so here comes your first question. All right. Complete the following sentence said by Professor B.K. Chakravarti in Lecture 3, Methodology for Innovation. Innovation methodology helps in coming up with solutions which can, this is the first blank, dash a large number of users and can get dash customers. So there are two blanks. This one is the first. Let me change the color. So this one is the first blank, and we have got the second blank. Okay. So you need to tell me based on what Professor Chakravarti told in lecture 3 for methodology of innovation. Innovation methodology helps in coming up with solutions which can, this is the first blank, a large number of users and can get second dash, which is the customers. So I want our learners to please tell the correct answers. We have got one vote for A. Anyone else who would want to vote for the options? So as per the first solution, it is which can delight a large number of users and can get potential customers, or satisfy a large number of users and get international customers. Third is which can target a large number of users and can get domestic customers, which can cater a large number of audience and can get few customers. So let's see the explore the options as well, right? Now starting with the last one, which can cater a large number of audience. So maybe cater might suit in, but what about can get a few customers? We don't want few customers, right? We want more customers. फ्यू तो हो ही नहीं सकता ना, हम कम कस्टमर्स लेके व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट वी आर गेटिंग? Ideally, nobody wants to get a few customers. They want a good market share. They want good, potential customers, good number of customers. Then comes your second option, which is C, which can target large number of customers and can get domestic customers. See, now both these options, domestic and international, it will depend on the kind of startup you are having. Have. All right. Now, say for example, you are offering visa services, right? And the audience you are dealing with travels only in that particular nation. These are domestic travelers. They are just exploring the India as a country, and they're not going abroad. Then your visa services, if you're targeting to domestic, won't be of any help. You'll have to target audiences, the people who are traveling abroad. Okay, I'm just giving a very very brief and rough example that these scenarios can only be correct if you have a startup which is focused upon these audience. These audience, these target group. तभी ये सही होंगे, otherwise these are not the correct answers. Okay, but based on the week 3 content, we haven't gone through any content which is talking about, or any startup which is talking about a very specific user group of domestic or international, right? So by far, even if you go through the options which are present here, the correct answer would be probably which can delight a large number of users and can get potential customers. So that is based on the kind of options which are presented here. So even if you have not gone through the content, if you do this kind of deduction from understanding the options provided, probably you might also guess the right answer. Okay, so just in case you have missed out a particular video content, you can still ponder upon the options given and then derive the correct answer. Let's say do the screen validation. Innovation methodology, new solutions which can benefit and delight large number of users. देखो यहाँ पे भी लिखा है ना, large number of users. We don't want few users or few customers. We want a large share. हमें कम लोग नहीं चाहिए, हमें ज़्यादा लोग चाहिए. We want lot of people. So this methodology helps us come up with solutions which can delight a large number of users and can get potential customers. And this is extremely critical for our businesses and startups, right? So the correct answer, as you have already pointed out, is A, which is delight and potential. Just right. So very well done. So the first option A is the correct one, as one of you have rightly mentioned. Uh, the innovation methodology helps in coming up with solutions which can delight a large number of users and can get potential customers. Okay, let's come to our second question. Which of the following aspects does the innovation process showcase as mentioned by Professor Chakravarti in Lecture 3 Methodology of Innovation? So, we are talking about the aspects which are showcased by the innovation process. Is it empathy? Is it effortless workflow? Is it constant interaction with the users or effective collaboration? You've got four options. Now, since it's a square box, it is multi select. It could be multiple correct answers. So please let me know what do you think are the correct responses. Okay. We have got one vote for option C. As I said, it's a multi-correct answer, so there will be multiple correct answers. So you can still look upon the options and you can let me know that what could be the other correct answers to it. We are asking the aspects which innovation process showcase. Think about it, reflect upon what you have gone through the course content, and I think you'll be able to get to the answer. So we are getting inputs for option C. I would request our audience to also explore the other options A, B, C, and D because it's a correct, it's a multi-select answer. So there could be multiple correct answers to it. So option C could be one, that's very true, but there could be more correct answers which can reflect upon as the aspects which the innovation process showcases as per Professor Chakravarti. All right, let's do the screen validation check. Innovation process के aspects हैं empathy, meticulous effort, constant interaction with the users, and effective collaboration. So empathy is required, meticulous effort is required, constant interaction with the users, and effective collaboration. So the correct answer is A, which is empathy, which is about putting yourself in the user's shoe. Then you have C, which is the constant interaction with the users, and D, which is effective collaboration. right? So the correct answers are empathy, constant interaction with the users, and effective collaboration, because it is not about effortlessness, it is about meticulous effort, right? It's about very carefully, बहुत ध्यानपूर्वक वो एफर्ट लगाना है, राइट? सावधानी एवं सतर्कता के साथ। ठीक है, सो मेटिकुलस इज अबाउट वेरी केयरफुली, सतर्कता सावधानी के साथ। ऑल राइट, लेट्स गो टू आवर थर्ड क्वेश्चन। If innovation needs to be implemented, what are the two ways to achieve it as suggested by Professor Chakrabarti in lecture 3, Methodology for Innovation? So, what we are asking is, we are asking what are the two ways to achieve innovation implementation. So the question says, if innovation needs to be implemented, what are the two ways? So it is giving a hint. So there are four squares, which means that probably only two of them are correct, right? Options are: take it to established industry, submit it to the government, create a startup, or get a degree in innovation. The question is, if innovation needs to be implemented, what are the two ways? So there are two correct answers. देखो अभी क्वेश्चन ही बता रहा है. The question itself is telling that there are two correct answers out of four options. Okay. So think upon and let me know what are the two ways how the innovation can be implemented as suggested by Professor Chakravarti. So we have got votes for A and C up till now. Anyone else who would want to think, elaborate? इनोवेशन को अगर इम्प्लीमेंट करना है, व्हाट आर द टू वेज एज पर प्रोफेसर चक्रवर्ती? सो द फर्स्ट ऑप्शन सेज उसको एस्टैब्लिश इंडस्ट्री के पास ले जाना. So there could be established industry in your domain wherever you are working upon. You are taking that innovation to them. Please implement it. You can submit it to the government. You can create a startup and implement it, or you can get a degree in innovation. So as of now, we have got two options. The votes for two options for option A, which is take it to established industry, and second is create a startup. Let's do a screen validation. So if you refer to the content, he was talking about the if innovation has to be sort of, like to be implemented, or you need to take it forward. Okay, you need to take it forward, which is basically asking you to do a startup, or either you need to go to the industry which is already established. Okay, so many times the answers are between the lines, and one of you have opted it very correctly that it is either in by doing a startup or taking it to a already established industry. And he gave the example of petrol pump. So down the line also we'll see that in a very elaborated way, but for a brief reference, how they partnered with the already established companies and then they came up with these designs. So the correct answer is option A, take it to established industry, very well suggested by one of the participants today, and option C, which is create a startup. So I'm happy to see that the options which are suggested by the learners are very much correct, and it's great to see that you have been you've gone through the content in a very intense way, because most of the options and the suggestions which you are suggesting are the correct ones. So great work, the learners who are present today. Let's go to the fourth question. What was the insight while working on solar oven? As told by Professor Chakravarti in lecture 3, methodology for innovation. Now here we are talking about the solar oven. Solar oven. Option A is people wanted cheap products, sasta saman. People are very interested in solar cooking. People want convenience of cooking from indoors. People want solar based rice cooker. So people want cheap products. मतलब सस्ता सामान चाहिए. People are very interested in cooking. People want the convenience of cooking from indoors, यानी कि घर के अंदर से उनको सोलर कुकिंग करनी है. और चौथा है पीपल वांट सोलर बेस्ड राइस कुकर. वो सोलर राइस कुकर चाहिए. So you've got two options for option C and one for option D. Like I said, these are circular ones, so which means there is a single correct answer. Okay. So if you go through the options, if you see people want cheap products, now it's a very generic statement. Maybe for a particular user group, it might sound correct, but there are various user group which want durable products. सस्ता हो तो अच्छा, but at the same time they want durable products, right? People are very interested in solar cooking. People want convenience of cooking from indoors. घर के अंदर से वो cooking करना चाहते हैं. And people want solar based rice cookers. So you've got two votes for option C and one vote for option D. So let's do a screen validation. People want convenience of cooking from indoors. So this is how the comprehension has led to. The insight which the student got when he went to the homes was that people want the convenience of cooking from indoors. तो ये कब मिला? When the student talked to his customers. See, when he talked to the people who are using solar ovens in homes, and this was the comprehension he got. People want convenience of cooking from indoors. So this insight brought us to the product C. So the comprehension becomes very important. One insight which is very critical. So as you can see the journey here, Avinash found out that conventional box type solar cooker is very inconvenient to use because the positioning, the handling, and those were the challenges. So he started the ideation, he started the sketching and the comprehension, which was convenience of cooking from indoors. This was the very brilliant idea that he came. This was from the window AC units. So विंडो एसी यूनिट्स भी अगर आपने देखा होगा वो बाहर ऐसे जट आउट होती है घर से. If this is your brickwork, it is something which juts out from the building, and probably the same concept was utilized for multi-story apartment. So the correct option is people want the convenience of cooking from indoors. This is option C as told by our learner. So well done. People want the convenience of cooking from indoors. वो बाहर जाने के नहीं काम करना चाहते because many times the sun is very harsh, है ना? Harsh sun है. फिर आपको अपना सोलर ओवन भी हैंडल करना है जो बॉक्स टाइप है. So there are many hardships, when getting exposed to sun. And that is where they wanted the convenience of cooking from indoors. So well done. Option C is the correct answer. Let's move ahead to our fifth question. What is the current sequence of the seven C's? We are talking about the seven concerns. The options are connection, context, crafting, cause, conception, check, and comprehension. So this will take a little while. Uh, Give a thought to it and let me know what is the correct order. So one of the participant has said B option. Okay. So take a while because it's a little tricky question, but it can be solved in a much better way. But I'll tell that only once you have suggested your votes. So these are the options: connection, context, crafting, pause, conception, check, and comprehension. So one, two, three. Okay, these are the seven concerns, and this needs to be ordered correctly. Any further responses? Option. So one I've said is option A, one I've said is option C. More opinions? Come on, guys. Take a while, think about it. Little more, little more. Yeah, we'll be through this. थोड़ा tricky है, but I think it can be solved. Okay, so I think we have taken enough time. Let's see the correct answer. So these are the seven C's. It's always start with the cause. What is the cause? Then it goes to the context. This context where we are working upon. Then comes the comprehension, followed by the check, conception of the idea, crafting of the idea, and then making the connections. Right? So, cause, context, comprehension, creating a checklist, working on the concepts, crafting the idea, and then making the connection. Connection means reaching out to the audience, potential customers. So, the correct answer is option C, which is DBGFECA. The cause, then comes the context, then comes the comprehension, then comes the F, which is the check, E, which is the conception, then the crafting, and then the connection. तो अगर इसको briefly याद रखना हो तो what is important is that you remember the first and last one. Cause से शुरू होगा, connection से खत्म होगा. So अगर वो भी करोगे आप तो still you will be able to get the correct answer from here, right? क्योंकि connection से कोई end ही नहीं हो रहा है. So if you can remember first and last also, this could have been solved easily. But still, the question might come with a different option. So it's always better to recall the entire flow. Cause, context, comprehension, check, conception, crafting. So remember, like, start with the cause, you find out your context, you comprehend it, you create a checklist, you create concepts, you craft your concepts, and you make the connection. All right. Great. Let's go to our sixth question. What was the cause of for redesigning the India Post letterbox in lecture 3 methodology for innovation? So we are asking the cause for India Post letterbox redesigning. Why it was being redesigned? To design a futuristic letterbox, to design a spherical letterbox, to design a letterbox which becomes a sensation in India, or to design a maintenance free letterbox. So these are the four options. Uh, I think the correct answer is very, very clear and evident. If you have gone through the content, you will be able to very quickly, identify what is the correct answer. Okay, so it's as direct as that, and even in due course, you will also see a detailed this thing on the letterbox project. So we have got option A, we have got option C as the votes. I would request you to please think a little bit more about it. The question is the cause for redesigning the India Post letterbox, as per Professor B.K. Chakravarti sir in the lecture 3 methodology for innovation. So पहला है कि एक फ्यूचरिस्टिक लेटर बॉक्स बनाना जो कि भविष्य के हिसाब से हो, एक स्फेरिकल लेटर बॉक्स बनाना जो कि गोलाकार हो, अ लेटर बॉक्स विच बिकम सेंसेशन इन इंडिया, तहलका मचा दे जो, एंड टू डिजाइन अ मेंटेनेंस फ्री लेटर बॉक्स जिसमें आपको मेंटेनेंस की जरूरत ना पड़े. सो द डिजाइन इज पावरफुल इन इटसेल्फ सो दैट यू डोंट रिक्वायर that kind of maintenance, right? So we have four options and you have to let me know the correct answers. We have got votes for option A and option C, and let's see if people want to rethink or tell me what could be the correct answer. Okay. So we have got votes for option A and option C. Let's see what the suggests. All right. So the cause was to have a maintenance-free letterbox for India Post, so that it does not require any maintenance. You have to come up with that one. So the correct answer is option B. ये किसी ने नहीं बोला है. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not option B. It is maintenance free option D. So later you'll also find a detailed session on this India Post this thing, and you'll see the kind of iterations that was done, how they were going forward and backward, right? So it's a very interesting case study. Under a project by DIC. Professor Chakkud. Okay, let's come to our question number 7. What did Trivikram Annavali, the designer of Paint Tracer, do to gain empathy for the cause, as shown in the lecture 3 methodology for innovation? Trivikram Annavali, the designer of Vein Tracer, do to gain empathy for the cause as shown in lecture 3. तो उन्होंने वेन ट्रेसर के लिए, जिन्होंने वेन ट्रेसर बनाया, द डिजाइनर फॉर इट, त्रिविक्रम, what did he do to gain empathy? Options are: he visited blood banks without planning on a product first. He conducted a survey and decided to solve the problem which had most votes. He role played the scenario in his head and came up with the problem to solve. And he visited several blood banks and decided to solve the problem faced by the nurses. So think upon it and let me know what is the correct answer to this. So, so we've got votes for A, C, and D. I would request you to please ponder upon a little more about it. बहुत ही डाइवर्स वोट्स है, तो मैं चाहूंगा कि आप लोग एक बार और सोचें. सो देयर इज ओनली वन करेक्ट आंसर इन दिस. ओके, व्हाट कुड बी द करेक्ट आंसर? Vikram, the designer of the Wayne dresser, I'll also tell you a brief about that. It was selected as one of the Gati Awards. Okay, so it was nominated for that. So how did he gain the empathy? So the options are: he visited blood banks without planning on a product first. मतलब उसके दिमाग में कोई product नहीं था. He just went to the blood banks. He just went in there. He conducted a survey and decided to solve the problem which had most votes. So it is based on vote share. He role played the scenario in his head and came up with a problem to solve. And then he visited several blood banks and decided to solve the problem faced by the nurses. Let's See the content recap. Pathy. Let's take a different color. Yellow. Yeah. Visited blood banks without planning on the product. Blood donors should not be pricked several times to find the vein. So he said that there are blood donors who are there and they're there for a good cause, but still they are being pricked up multiple times. So anyway, they are doing a good job. Let's not trouble them more. Right. So that was their intent. That was his idea. I mean, there should not be more and further trouble of this particular sort. So, in one course, we said that we'll just go and visit the blood banks. We did not plan what product to work upon. When we visited blood banks, and the student kept on, like talking to the doctors, talking to the people who came to give blood, and each student took one problem from the blood bank. Okay. So it was just a visit without much in mind. And it was not, they did not go with a pre planned product. However, the visit triggered certain empathy and triggered the scenarios, understanding the pain points of the users. And on the basis of it, this particular thought came. So I think one of you correctly said that the correct answer is option A, which is just a minute, I'll just he visited blood banks without planning on a product first. So this is the correct answer. One of you has mentioned it. Very happy that you're attempting the correct ones as well. Great, great. Let's go to our eighth question. In the Palki project, the check was to reduce the weight of Palki by 20 to 30%, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60. Again, you have to do a little deep dive into that Palki project. It was for Vaishnav Devi. Sign located in Katra. Okay. So Vaishnav Devi Mandir, it's situated in Katra. And, there was a Palki project which was given to them. And they had to ensure a check. What was that check? You need to tell me the check. Because the traditional palkis were quite heavy. Okay. बताइए, please start suggesting your options. What was the weight reduction that was considered as a check? What was the check? Was it 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50 or 50, 60? It's a little tricky one. You have to deep dive as I mentioned. थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लोर करना पड़ेगा, सोचना पड़ेगा, बहुत ऑब्जर्वेंट होके आपको वो लिखना पड़ेगा प्रेजेंटेशंस. थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी है ये. इट नीड्स दैट काइंड ऑफ आई to find these kind of facts. And And just have a look. I mean, how many learners are there or not? Because, okay, so we have a few people there. That's fine. That's fine. I'll switch the presentation now. Okay, option B, somebody has said. We have got we've got one vote for option D. Sorry, I missed it. Option B, I think we have got one vote. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else who think it is option B, A, C, D? All right, let's do a screen validation. The check was the weight of the palki should be reduced by 30 to 40%. If you see, I mean, just highlight it. This is all the palkis currently, right? Four people who carry it, right? This is the one customer who's sitting. Okay. So they wanted to reduce the weight of the palki. And how are they able to reduce it? Anyone? Please tell. By changing the material of the pipe. कोई बता सकता है किस मटेरियल से किस मटेरियल पे आए थे? Anyone? So weight reduction was happening by changing the material of the pipe. Can anyone tell me what material they shifted to which material, which aided in a significant reduction? Anyone? Mhm. So the GI pipes were replaced with SS pipes, the stainless steel. GI is galvanized iron, mainly used for plumbing, water, water flow के लिए. Okay. So the correct answer is B, which is 30 to 40%. I think one of you were able to guess it right. Well done. Okay. Then comes your second last question, which is methodology for innovation. What does Chakku's second C comprehension mean? Right. First C kya tha? What was the first C? It was pause. Second C is context. So they are asking what does the second C mean? Context का मतलब क्या है? Is it understanding the user's perspective, understanding the tools used by the designers to create new products, understanding the dialect of the users, and understanding the problem space and environment? We are trying to infer upon what do we mean by context. We've got one vote for option D and one vote for option A. As per Chakku's 7 C's, one of the C is context, which is the second one. We are trying to infer what the context means. Context का मतलब क्या है? Understanding users' perspective, understanding the tools used by the designers to create new products, understanding the dialect of the users and understanding the problem space and environment. Okay. Okay. So we have got one vote for option A and one vote for option D. Let's kind of do the screen validation. Context, understanding the problem, space, and environment. The context, understanding the problem space and environment, very very critical, students. In fact, we may do a number of lectures on context, but when we finally go to the context, we are making it very very wide. We do not understand the problem space much. So it is about understanding the problem space and environment. So one of you have correctly said it's D, which is understanding the problem space and environment. Okay. So now we are reaching to our last question. The last question is about the water filter bottle. Who was the water filter bottle designed for in lecture 3 methodology for innovation? Was it CRPF Jawans? Was it adventure camping enthusiasts, motorcycle riders, or marathon runners? Again, even if you have gone through the content recap, you'll be able to identify it. Correct answer. So we have got one vote for option C. Who was the water filter bottle? And C and D. Okay. However, I would like to highlight that it is a radio button question, which means single correct answer. So it is just one correct answer. Okay. Uh, I would suggest you to please refer to the content recap. There were images which can actually help you understand the correct answer for this. Who was the water filter bottle designed for in lecture 3 methodology for innovation? Was it for CRPF Jawans? CRPF is basically Central Reserve Police Force, as far as I could recall. CRPF. Adventure camping enthusiasts, motorcycle riders, and marathon runners. You have to tell me correct answer. We have got options for votes for option C, and we have got one more for this. Okay. All right. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else who would want to suggest what is the correct answer? Okay. Fine. Fine. Let's do screen validation. Water filter bottle for CRPF Jawans. CRPF Jawans in meeting with the design team at IDC. Now, if you could recall these images, see what's also important is that motorcycle riders and marathon runners and adventure, these people can get access to water easily or good quality water. And हमें ये भी तो सोचना है, these people can get access to good quality waters, यार. They can plan and they can do it in adventure camping. This could be a good scenario where the stock if they're camping it for multiple days. But motorcycle riders and marathon runners, है ना, इनको आराम से they can get access to good quality water. Yeah, it is the Jawans who have a very unpredictable lifestyle. Why? Because they have to go on for missions. The missions can extend for 1 day to 10 days to weeks, है ना. तो यहाँ पे even in the adventure camping, you plan for a day or 2 or 3 days, 4 days, है ना, आप plan करके जाते हो. But यहाँ पे तो it is a very unpredictable lifestyle, depending upon the mission, they have to stay like that for a long period of time, है ना. खाने का भी राशन कम होता है, पानी का भी कम होता है, then they have to rely on the natural sources, which is already a very risky scenario, because a lot of times traps are set up in natural resources, considering that people would come and bring water from that. Okay, so even if you go through the options, you would be able to understand कि अच्छा हाँ, what is the most vulnerable, where is the most required intervention. तो भी आपको ये क्लिक कर जाएगा. Sorry, most required. So the correct answer was CRPF Jawans, for which the water bottle filter project was taken up. And if you could recall, there was an image also wherein a guy in a dress was there, and he was being, using the kind of option which was given, right? So this is how we end upon our set of 10 questions. We had certain questions from the discussion forum, and I'll just go through them very quickly. So the first two questions we have already discussed in our previous sessions. Then there was a question on whether it is if anyone having an idea but do not have the clarity about the procedure to be followed to convert it into a startup, how to bring it on the table, and how to analyze its scope of being successful. So we discussed this question on our week 2 live session. I would suggest that you please go through that live session. It's already up and available on YouTube. You'll get your query resolved from that. Fourth one is which is a good product based startup or service based startups. Now, before we address that, we need to gain clarity of what do you mean by product based startup and service based startup. So the product based startups, they build and sell a physical or a digital product. Okay, so it could be a tangible product, or it could be something like a digital product or an app based thing. But what's important is that what is it that they are offering? So the examples are like Ola Electric. So it is offering EV, EVs in terms of two wheelers. Then you have Nika, which is offering beauty products. You have Noise and Board. These are into consumer electronics and offering smart watches, earphones, and things like that. Right. And then you have service based startups wherein they are providing a service that is customized to your needs, the customer needs. So you have examples like Urban Clap, which is offering home services. So if you have already used, they have electricians, they have plumbers, right? So they'll come to your home, they'll cater to your particular need, and they'll address those challenges. Then you have Ola Cabs, which is a ride hailing services, Uber, Ola, both of them. And then you have companies like Infosys and Wipro, which are offering IT services, right? So I think by these examples, you would gain clarity about what you mean by product based and service based startups and the examples of them, right? So it's a very good question, and I think through examples you'll be able to understand it. There is another question. What are the key characteristics that make a successful entrepreneur? How does hand-holding support in entrepreneurship contribute to the success of startups? And what are the key components of effective entrepreneurial guidance? So I think again you need to refer to the week 2 content. And there are three entrepreneurs, if you recall. Amit, Anurag, and Mayuri, who are sharing their experience from the GDC, how GDC helped them, how they mentored them, how they handholded them, and how they ensure success is basically by reducing the odds of failure, right? So when they do evidence based entrepreneurship, when they find evidences, when they find that okay, this is the right problem and there is a market for it, then nobody can stop you from becoming successful, right? So that is the intent of having a mentor and a guide and incubators like the GDC. Okay. So with that, we conclude our presentation there. If there are any questions, we can discuss and respond to, or so anyone who has a question. Meanwhile, I'll just save the presentation to be uploaded on the drive. Anyone who has a question? और योर एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द कोर्स अप टिल नाउ, कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है आपका? समझ में आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है? हाउ आर द क्वेश्चंस, हाउ आर द असाइनमेंट्स, हाउ आर यू परफॉर्मिंग इन दोज असाइनमेंट्स व्हिच आर ऑलरेडी लाइव? एनीवन हु वुड वांट टू स्पीक? Okay, okay, no issues. Let me just open up the page. Okay, so this is your swam interface, and if you see, there are the week 4 content is already now available. So it has three lectures, lecture 6, 7, and 8. And the week 4 assignment deadline would be probably 19th of Feb. Yes, correct. It's the 19th of Feb. Okay. And 19th of Feb, which means, okay, you have sufficient time because we'll be meeting on 15th of Feb, which is our fourth session, and then 22nd, and then first, that also we'll be doing covering. Okay. And I think week 3 deadline I mentioned, it was week 12th. So all those who have not yet uploaded, please do it now. And I can tell you these a few options which are there. So let's start with the bottom. So problem solving sessions are being uploaded, and if you click here, you'll see a spreadsheet. And if you see, week wise YouTube links are available. And if you click here, you will be able to see the PDF presentation, right? So I'll be uploading for today as well, very soon. Then comes your lecture notes. So if you click on the lecture notes, you will be able to see the lecture notes are available right from lecture 1 to lecture 27. All the lecture notes are available. You can download at one go whenever you have a good internet, and you can go through it. Then comes the study material. This again is a very good functionality. You can download the entire study material deck. All right. It's also available. Then comes the download videos. So many times, if you are in college, you have a better internet connection, you can download all the videos at one go. And this is available from this link. So the catch here is that you get to see the entire week's content from this particular thing. However, from this Swam portal, you get to see one by one, week by week. But here, they have uploaded all the content right at one place. So, you can download it at one go. Uh, Go to the downloads. You can download all the assignments. You can download the transcripts. You can download the videos. Okay. So from here, you can click here and you can download all the videos at one go. So these have been the statistics. Up till now, these many students have enrolled, these many have registered, and these many have been certified. And if you see, there are different certification standards. You can get a gold, silver, elite, according to your marks. And this is the toppers list. So for January to April 22, these have remained the top 1%. See, if you see, it is a mix of students, it's a mix of professionals, who have participated. And I believe that if you are consistent, you perform great, your name will also be posted here. So this is for April 23, and then you have January to April. This is a different set of people who are among the top, right? Recently, if you see, you have July and October. Oh, that's me as well. I also took the examination, so I was among the top 2%. Uh, yeah, so it's more like a motivation, right? I mean, if you have performed well, you'll always remain in their repository. People can refer, and say, see these people. They gained 100% marks, right? So we are reaching new standards each and every semester, each and every course, right? So these are the latest ones. So it will act as a good motivation to you. So you can just have a look. These are the certificate type: silver, gold, elite, and completed. So depending upon how you perform and the kind of scores you are getting, you gain. So elite plus gold is above 90%. 75 to 89 is elite plus silver, and greater than is elite. Okay, and this is the entire syllabus of it. Okay, so I think remaining everything we have already captured and seen. Let me also show you the learning materials. So for week 3, if you click here, it is the additional learning material, and all these are clickable links. Okay. So if you click here, you will gain story and information about it, and you can capture that. Uh, all right. And so I'll just click each one of them and open it to you so that you can at least have a look, and we can also verify whether these are, working links or not. All right. So the first one was about the Netflix No Rules Rules. You can read it here. There is also a short video which you can have a look at it. And then this we already saw, Neetu Yadav and Kirti Jangra. This refers to their Animal app, wherein they are selling cows and buffaloes. Then comes the PDF case study, which you can go through, and then user-friendly Palki for Vaishno Devi Shrine. So this again is a very interesting entire PDF you can download. You can capture the entire journey. What were the challenges? What are the challenges these porters were facing in this 14-kilometer trek? And how and what was the motivation and how the entire design process started, and the ergonomic studies which are done, the issues which people were facing, and then these are the comparative studies followed by the design journey of how they arrived at a better design. And see, I told you about how they transferred from GI pipe to SS pipe, which is the galvanized iron pipe, which were thick and heavy, to stainless steel pipe, which were thick but stronger, right? So because of the material reduction, they were able to reduce the weight of the entire palki. And this is how the fabrication is going on, followed by the user testing, and the other dimensions of it. This is how it's being made, and they did the user testing, and this is the final palki, right? And everybody is exploring it, understanding it, using it, and this is how it was launched as well. Palkis were launched and distributed to the porters. It's a very interesting study, a very collaborative approach, and everybody got involved. for a very successful this thing, right? So it's a very interesting story. You can download it and you can study it whenever you get time. All right. So I think that's it. Probably now we can close our session. If nobody has any further questions, we can stop the presentation. Okay. Yes, yes, we are back. So once again, thank you all those who have joined in, who participated in the session, and thank you for voting and sharing your votes. And we'll close the session now. Once again, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you. Let's meet next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.